Well, today on Nation, a window cleaners podcast, we are talking to the legend himself. We are talking to Mr. Sorbo, the Godfather of squeegee, all about the book, all about the gear, how he got started, a lot of really, really cool stuff. So if you're a window cleaner, this is going to be amazing. Stay tuned to WCR Nation. What's up, everybody? Jersey here from windowcleaner.com, and you are here. What is up? If it's your first time here, have a look around. We've been doing this for 7.5 years, every single week, so there's a ton of content, and some of it is not awful. So go back, watch, or listen. It's anywhere podcasts are found, and also on YouTube. If it's not your first time here, well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming back. I did something right if you're here. I very, very much appreciate it. It's an exciting one today. We get to talk to the man himself, Sorbo. Like you're like Madonna. One word tells everybody everything they are. It's really that simple.
Are you talking to me?
Yep. Yeah. I think we froze for a second there, but
I thought you were still introducing stuff.
Oh yeah, no. But
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
You're like the one word name. Like you're like, Madonna, Bon Jovi. You got like these people who have one word and you just know exactly there's only one of them. That's kind of you.
Well, I never thought of that, but thank you very much.
That's right. There you go. Well, if anybody's living under a rock and they haven't seen you or know you or anything, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a Swede, and I immigrated to the United States 1971, and I became a window cleaner, and I really enjoy that. I've been doing it now for 51 years.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun,
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of people thought I was dead already, but here I am, still moving.
Boy, that was a great title for the book then, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I came over here 71 just to visit a friend of mine. And you know what? I fell in love with the American people. It was the most friendly people I ever met.
Wow.
And warm and nice, and people said, good morning. And, I after a few months I called my mom and I said, you know what, I'm not coming home anymore. What do you mean? She said, you're not coming home? No, I'm going to make California my home. I said, because people are so wonderful. And I said, I've never been to church, but this is as close to heaven I can get, I said.
Yeah, nice. And what's crazy is you still live in the same area that you came to visit. Like you hit the right place when you came here at the first try.
Well, you know what? I believe that too, because I've been around the whole world, demoing my stuff, and I'm always looking forward to come back to the desert here in California, because it's dry, heat, and it's a couple of months. It's a little bit humidity, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you wonder, when you first come here, it's like 118, 120 degrees in the shade,
Yeah.
I wonder if I should be back east. But later on I started to travel, and I find that back east is really, really muggy in summertime.
Yeah. Your problems start to really kind of shrink when you go somewhere else, and you're like, oh,
exactly.
Much worse here.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. The product itself, when did Sorbo start? Like what year did it start?
Well, 1974 was my first invention, and that was the Tricket, the louver cleaner tool that I invented for louver windows. And I just did that because I actually ended up with around 200 apartments from this guy I used to work for. And it was 8 louver windows in all the kitchens, and he didn't want it, so he gave it to me.
Yeah.
But you probably, when you read the book, you probably know why we split, But anyway, that's when I took Ettore brass squeegee and I bent it like a tongue. I flattened it in the middle and I bent it, and then I had like a tongue like this, and I cleaned the louver windows, and I actually started to make money out of those windows, Yeah. And that was my first invention. And later on, because the people in the apartment, they saw that tongue, and many of them was from Hawaii. And in Hawaii, they have mostly louver windows in the houses, take care of the heating and cooling and everything,
Yeah.
So I kind of got worried, but I better patent this thing. So I did. I modified it and started to patent it. And It was my first invention.
That's crazy. You were a window cleaner that said there's a need, so I'm going to fix the need, basically.
Yeah, I suppose most everybody have experienced something like that, in the window cleaning industry, and not only in that industry, in different industry. Every time you need something, you figure something out.
Yeah. But that's like the stuff, the inventions that exist that actually make sense are from that exact scenario. You do a job, or you're trying to do a job, you go, there's got to be a better way. Boom, I create this thing, as opposed to somebody who sits in front of a computer who's never cleaned a window and goes, I'm going to do this. And then everybody's like, that's not a good idea. Why would you do that? You need a window cleaner to design window cleaning stuff.
Yeah, and the benefit you have is that you're a window cleaner, so you know exactly how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit of inventing stuff in the window cleaning industry. You have to be a window cleaner, otherwise you're lost.
Yeah. Now, how many patents have you held? I see them all on the wall. How many do you have for window cleaning gear?
Well, I have 10 of my own, and then I purchased 2 of them, so it's 12 altogether.
Wow. 12 patents. That's
it's not mine. It's 2 of them I purchased.
We'll say 10. Even 10.
Well,
that's 10, more than anybody else in the window cleaning industry. Even close. Maybe somebody's got 1 at the most. Somebody's out there. That's pretty crazy.
Put them all together, I'm still the best.
I mean, you're the Godfather, right?
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Wow, that's amazing. It was Marcus who came up with that.
Yeah, and that he's a good dude, by the way. Everybody kind of.
Yeah, I might miss him very much. Marcus Bay, right? Was Bay? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so you kind of started to window cleaning, and then you started making the tools, and then you kind of stopped being a window cleaner because you were making tools, and that was kind of your job. When did that transition? When did you stop being a window cleaner happen?
Well, it was around 1990, 1987. Well, I cleaned windows at that time, but 1991 was when my buddy that worked for me, he actually passed away, and that's when I sold the company. But before that, I did a little bit of both.
Yeah, and that's one of those. It's really hard, especially when you do something for so long, to get out completely of that thing. You kind of you switch over, and I'm cherry picking, and then from there, I'm just doing family and friends, and you're still doing something for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it was a new thing that I never been involved in. I knew how to make the equipment, but I didn't know how to market it. So
yeah,
it's been a long road, really.
Has it been a fun adventure though, in the realm of going from one side of it to the other side? I mean, you've been around for a very, very long time. I mean, not calling you old here, but you're it's been a long time. You've been in the industry. It's got to be kind of amazing to see where it was at one point when you started to where it is now, and to where the culture is, and just the whole industry as a whole.
Yeah, well, it's a great experience, and you probably never think about it, where you're going. I never did. I was just so involved in everything I came up with, and then when I started to develop it, it took all the time I had. Sometimes when the greatest achievement is probably the squeegee blade sharpener, and it took me over a year to get it to work. And when you get involved in that, then it's so exciting because you have a challenge, and you want to make it, and that's really the fun part of the whole thing. And then also you think about, I hope window cleaners can save money by using this, because since I'm a 100% window cleaner, I'm not a businessman. I'm a window cleaner and an inventor. Yeah. And you love window cleaning. You love to talk to window cleaners. That's my life, really.
Yeah. What's crazy too, a lot of people kind of don't know, but Sorbo products as a whole is almost a system. I mean, the channel is shaped the way because of the your basically inventions all play onto themselves to create this overall system. It's not one thing. You didn't just make a wide body channel. You made it so that there's staggered spots. You made it so, I mean, now with the Cobra and the Viper and the other options where you have now different shapes and things, I mean, it all comes back to the channel design that all works together. So you really should have 5 different Sorbo things to really make the whole package work. I mean, the squeegee, the channel, the buckets, the soap, the everything plays together to make this whole thing really, really work.
Yeah, of course. And when you start developing something, you know, when you have a new product, then you realize, I can use another product because of this product. So, I mean, it was like a chain reaction. So I didn't really come up with everything. It came by itself, more or less. You know, everything was based on the squeegee channel. And then the extension pole, I mean, the first 40-foot pole in the world, except a Tucker who had a water-fed pole, but mine was for squeegees, you know.
Yeah.
And then all other tools came in too, because you could not clean windows higher because you didn't need any pressure, and so on and so on. And it just came in by itself. I didn't do that much. You know? All I did was design it, you know.
That's it. That's all you did. Just design it. Invented it. No big deal.
Anybody could have done it if they just had a start.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know about how true that is, but I think what's interesting in the mind of the tinkerer, the inventor, is that you not only created a puzzle, but you made a puzzle that worked with other puzzles. So you're trying to find like ways that one thing can be created that's brand new, but also works with everything else. I mean, it's very multifaceted as far as inventions go. Yeah,
well, I tried to make it so people can use it even if they don't use our handles or if they don't use our poles and stuff like that. More universal, like for instance, the squeegee rubber is the only universal rubber in the world. It fits every squeegee channel on the market, but a lot of people doesn't know that, you know. But I can tell you one thing: in 5 years, you won't even see round rubber anymore. They'll be all my rubbers.
Yeah, I could agree. I could agree to that. What made you, by the way, when you got into rubber, what made you kind of come up with the formula for the rubber and the feel? And because Sorbo rubber is so different in its function on the glass, its feel, when you actually are using it, it feels different than anything else. I almost want to say I could blindfold, not know what rubber is what, and feel it different, you know? So you know the blend is different. You know it's specific to you. Like, how did you kind of come up with that? I don't think that you have like a history of rubber making or anything, but how did that come to light?
Well, you know, it takes a lot of trying and telling the people how you want it, and all of a sudden it works. You know, I suppose it takes time, everything, but if you don't give up, you finally get it to work. You know. Yeah. That's the point, really, and the quality of the compound is probably the most important thing. You know, you try to take fillers out that make the rubber wear out quicker. And one thing that happened when you do that, the squeegee doesn't glide that easy on the window. It sticks a little bit to the glass, but then I invented the glide, which is the only lubricant in the world. So if you use that with the Sorbo tools, like you said, it's a system. Yeah. If you use the whole system, then it works. But some people, they haven't discovered the glide and the soap. You know, when I started clean windows down here, when it was 118, 20 degrees, and you clean windows direct in the sunlight, the window dries real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's almost like when you put the water on the window. You know?
Sizzling. Yeah.
And what we did, we put more chemicals in the water, you know, to make it glide, you know. But then we realized that you leave chemicals in the window instead, and that was no good, you know. So what I decided to do is separate the lubrication and the cleaning chemical. Yeah. So that's the reason I got 2 products that goes together. Is first the cleaning powder, which clean the window, and if it's really hot one day, you don't need any more of that. All you do, you add a little bit of glide, and the glide doesn't really mess up the window that much as the cleaning chemical, you know. So it's a system, and if you use a Sorbo squeegee, you should really use the glide too, because it also prolongs the lifespan of the rubber because it's less friction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also keeps the window wet longer. And when it's cold, since it's a kind of a glycol product, it doesn't freeze that fast.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that's on the market now too that is just slide. So you like, I have a soap and I gotta add another chemical to have the sliding part, you know, or the wetting agent to keep it wet longer, not evaporate. Like all that's in one soap already. It's already kind of together, but it was made because of the rubber is so different. You had to have the soap to make the rubber, but yet the soap is great even by itself.
Well, it was because, you know, sometimes when we came to a new customer and we just put the washer on the window, it was suds already.
Yeah.
Because it was already on the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no wonder they changed window cleaners. That's the reason we were there, you know. And then when we cleaned the window, we didn't leave anything on the glass. And they said, "Oh, it's amazing how long the windows stay clean when you clean it." They said, "Well, it's because I developed a new product. It's non-suds. The suds, what it does, it slows you down, and I can see people use a lot of suds." But you know, when I used to use suds before I developed this product, we had to use like 2 rags when we did the inside and the outside. And then when we start to use this product without suds, we use only 1 rag to detail, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, the squeegees do a lot of detailing itself, but we actually reduced the need of 1 rag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we knew that the suds around the frame holds a lot of water.
Mm-hmm. And those suds,
yeah,
they bleed back onto the glass too. So now you have, instead of just a little sliver, you know, by the time it starts gliding back on, now you got a big section to kind of clean.
Exactly, yeah. So you notice that when you clean windows, you know, this, when you wipe the edge with the suds, it wets the rag real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after all of that, so you've been a window cleaner that decided to get into tools, the best tools on the planet, by the way. But then you said, you know what? I have an amazing story, which, if people don't know, is absolutely like a Hollywood story. It's not just, I was a window cleaner and then I made tools and here I am. There's so many things that kind of came into it. The book is phenomenal. But what made you write a book? Like, I mean, have you always thought that you were going to do that? Or was it just one of those kind of spur of the moment things?
Well, you read the book already, so you know how stupid I was in school.
you just experienced life very fast, and you just experienced a lot of it. You're not leaving anything on the table. It's not. You're not. I wish I would have done it this way. You've done it.
I'm not educated at all. You know, I could have done without school. You know, it was a nightmare. You read the book already, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's one thing too. Is it was interesting to me because I know you. I've known you forever. You go to IWCA every year.
Yeah.
It was interesting because of that. But even if I didn't know who you were, the book would be absolutely interesting anyway. It's mind-blowing that's actually, the story is actually there.
Well, you know, it was like 4 years ago. I don't know exactly if it was 4 years ago, but window cleaners, I talked to some window cleaners. I told them about my whole life. You know, some rough guys, you know, who've been living similar life as I did before, street fighting and drinking and almost dying, you know, and we clicked pretty good, you know, and we start talking. And then the guys, more and more guys heard about it and said, "You should write a book." I say, "I can't even read. How can I write a book?"
Right.
So what I did then, I didn't think about it until a year ago. All of a sudden, I got that thing coming over me. And it had a lot to do with a lot of things. One thing was that Marcus called me the Godfather of the white body squeegee, and I said that was kind of surreal, you know.
Yeah.
As you know, I should be dead, you know, right? And I died. Most likely I did, and God raised me back again, or helped me to live, you know. And I said, you know what? To call me Godfather, I didn't think it was something you could use when you're a Christian, you know, because God is God, you know, and He is a mighty God, you know. He saved my life so many times. But then I said, you know, to my little wife, I said, you know what? This is a great opportunity. Who else would they ever be able to call Godfather in this industry? Yeah. I better take advantage of this, you know. And then all of a sudden everything came together. Well, that would be a good thing for my book, and stuff like that, So, no, it was just the right timing, before I go up there.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is the story that you have to tell. If you didn't put it in a book, would just people would know rumors or things that they've heard from you, but without putting it all there, nobody knows the full story.
I don't even understand how I could put it together. As a Christian, I know because the Holy Spirit helps you, and that's what happened, because to me, when I started to write the book, I thought it would be more about the inventor, but my goodness, it's more about God in that book than it is about the inventor, at least equally much, and he's the one I thank for everything,
Well, there's a thing happens. So say you came up with the idea for, a tool, whatever.
Yeah.
That came to be because of 1,000 things coming together to come to that one idea. So it's not the idea, it's how did that idea come out? How did that thing pop out of your head? Where was that? There's the thing that Joe Rogan, if you know who he is, he always talks about it, but there's like a muse that's like every person has it inside them that sometimes things just fall out of your head and you're like, where did that come from? How did I think of that?
Yeah, exactly.
There's 1,000 things that happen to get to that point,
Well, that's the exciting thing. And then you think back on it and say, wow, how could God have me do these things? It's amazing, really.
And when it's happening, you think, what path? I'm not on a path. I'm not doing it. But then when you stop today and you look at your entire life, then you say, okay, the path I took was the only way that I would get to this exact spot. At the time, I didn't know that was my path. I thought I was lost. But when you look back, that was the entire history that makes you who you are right this second was because you took that exact path, the exact way that it was. Bad things, good things, terrible things. All are leading you to the person and the time you are right this second.
Well, as a purpose, when you should really have been dead. I should have been dead so many times, and I sometimes look back and say, how could I walk away from that crash, or anything, that happened to me, So it's a purpose, and I'm just glad to be here to experience it in the end,
Yeah. Now, I hope everybody goes out and gets the book. It is, like I said, even knowing you or not knowing you, it's fantastic. But tell me about the crash, because that was, I want to say impactful to read, but tell us a little about that.
The first one or the last one?
Well, the last one. Yeah. Well, any of them, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was living outside my hometown. I went to a school where we learned how to repair cars because I got kicked out from another school because I had a lottery on a bottle of vodka. So I went to this other school, and of course we drink every night. That's the only fun thing you have to do in Sweden is drink and fight.
It's dark and cold, and that's what you do.
Yeah, you drink so you get warm, and then you fight so you get hot.
Right.
But anyway, it was a Saturday, and said, hey, let's go to this other town and look for some girls, and of course we were drunk already. So I said, I better go out in the countryside and drive the road there so the cops doesn't catch us, And all of a sudden this guy said, hey, the cops is after us. He said, are you kidding? I said, so I started to drive really fast, and it was a dirt road, and of course in the curve I sort of slid, and then I don't remember anything more until when I woke up. The car was laying on the side, and my buddy, he was gone. I woke up in the back seat and crawled out, and he was laying outside underneath the car, which was leaning on the door. The door was like a harmonica holding up the car. So I said, well, he didn't move at all. So I went out and I pulled him into the side of the road, and of course, now I didn't see any cars, so there was no cops around.
Yeah.
So I went up to the house, closest house I could find, and asked them to call for a taxi. I didn't want any cops to come, but the cops came instead. And I said, wow, I don't want to blow in the balloon, So I just lay down beside my buddy. He still was unconscious.
Yeah.
And I went out too, and then I woke up in the hospital, and I just opened the eyes a little bit, and there was cops around the table. They were waiting for me to wake up. So I decided not to look.
Yeah.
So they were going to sew up my skull because it was cracked and it was hole here. So the nurse said, "You're going to numb him?" No, he don't feel anything. So they sew up the whole head without the numbing because I didn't feel anything anyway. So
yeah, they
then I woke up the next morning and there was nobody there.
Yeah. You know, I have to say, as a side note, as somebody with a very bumpy head, if I ever lose my hair, I can't have a head like yours. I can't. But you have a story, and you still have a great looking nugget. I think that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, well, some people got hair because the head is ugly, you know. So
that's what mine is. My barber even is like, like moving flaps around and yeah. It's great. You know, that's like a real story. That I come back to that. It's like the idea that is a piece to the puzzle that forms you to who you are now. You know, if anybody knows you now, I mean, I know that you're very big in gospel. I own a couple of your records, by the way. They're on CD. But I mean, the point that you're at now truly did have to come from all that. It had to have.
You're right. Well, you know, like you read in the book, you know, I wanted to sing when I was like 5 years old, and my dad said, "Shut up, you sound terrible." And I didn't sing anything until I was 56 years old, and now I actually have around 30 songs on the internet. That is 2 barcodes in the back of the book, and you can go in there and listen to my songs, and you can also see my artwork because I did a lot of paintings, you know, through my life. Here's one of them.
There's a ton of paintings on the site too, on the website. There's of them on there.
Yeah, I know. So,
not to get onto the art thing either, but I want to tell you something that's really interesting is that usually when an artist does a drawing, a painting, a sculpture, or whatever, they have a style. But you've gone through, and even on the site, you can see you have 10 different styles. I mean, this is all within one thing, and you've done everything from modern to landscape, fruits. I mean, everything.
Yeah, this drawing I did where I had that lottery for vodka. You know, I did only one pencil drawing, and this is the one.
Oh wow!
And I'm very proud of that one. It's really, really cool.
Do you still do art a lot, or is that just kind of your come now?
I haven't painted since 1970s. I don't even sing anymore. I haven't sung since before the Corona.
Yeah? Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, those days when I was, right after that I got born again Christian, God told me to go to Sweden and tell my hometown people about Jesus, you know, and I said, no way, I can't do that. I was a baby in Christ. I didn't know too much about the Bible at all, you know, but 2 years later, they came over me and I said to my wife, hey, now I'm ready to go home. Yeah, go, she said. So I bought a ticket and I put a big ad in the biggest newspaper in town. Biker from California is here to tell you about Jesus, and I didn't even know if one lady or a man should come. Nobody would come, but 60 people came, but it was mostly old friends of mine who wanted to see how crazy I was.
There you go. Hey, but it was people, you know.
Yeah, they couldn't believe. I said, well, this guy must have been drinking too much, you know, so that's the reason they came.
Hey, if you're looking to change lives, it could be somebody you know or somebody you don't know that you change. It really can. Anybody that touches you in any type of way could be changed.
Yeah, I know. Well, I did it for 7 years, and that's where he told me to do it, so I did that, you know. So, a lot of people came every summer when I went home, you know. It was amazing, really. I couldn't believe it, you know.
Yeah. Hey, again, the paths that you take, sometimes you didn't know that was the path you were going to take, but it needed to be done.
Oh, it took a long time before I want to become a Christian. You know, you know the book, right? I was so hard-headed and hard-hearted, but he broke through. Sooner or later, he broke through, you know?
Yeah.
I never looked back, you know. My life and my wife's life, too, changed, you know, at that moment, you know.
Yeah. Well, it again changes direction, but you're still on the end path. You're still on that, you know. And
You're right.
you are, no matter what happened to get there.
Yeah, I was part of the journey.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Now, one of the things that everybody, I think, is still interesting to this day, and I know you're a people person and you love just talking to window cleaners because you're a window cleaner. So it's like, why not hang out? But you still go to the IWCA show every single year, and you're in your booth, and people just can talk to you. And just, I mean, as without saying celebrity, because I know you don't like that, but it is. It's the point where you're like a person. You're real. You're real to people.
Well, I don't feel like I am the Sorbo Godfather. That's kind of surreal to me. I'm a window cleaner, and I want to be that way. But it's kind of weird, really. I don't really pretend to be this guy, but I just happen to be that guy. I don't know how to explain it.
It's not if you want it to be, it's if other people want it to be.
It's not me, you know. Me is like this. I want to clean windows. I want to talk and have fun, you know. Talk to window cleaners, about techniques and about equipment and stuff like that, you know. I want to thank American Window Clean Magazine too, because your magazine is the one who got my products known. 1987 was it?
Yeah, it was right after, because 86 it started, and 87 is when you met. Actually, I think it was at the IWCA that you met. I believe. Yeah. It's crazy. By the way, my name was in your book. I thought that was amazing. By the way, it's my 15 minutes of fame, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I talked about the truth.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. It's like a parting question. As somebody who's been in the industry for a million years and has seen things change so much, what do you think like the biggest difference is from when you got into window cleaning to now?
The biggest differences?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably that people got used to a 36-inch squeegee.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing. Couldn't have been. Standard.
Yeah, well, you know, when I started cleaning windows, I used the Ettore 22-inch, and then I needed a bigger squeegee, and Unger made it 24, so I started to use that, you know, but that was it. And I said, you know, we need a bigger squeegee, you know.
Yeah.
And people said, squeegee, you couldn't change a squeegee. This is what they look like. The only thing in between those two squeegees was the brass and stainless steel, but I said it got to be another way. But I need a squeegee that doesn't bend.
Yeah. How does that
work? I didn't know the limit when I started to design the squeegee. I just designed it in a way so it would be more rigid, but still light and thin.
Yeah.
And the limit is obviously 6 feet.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And I have to say too, in the world of like not changing channels, really, you have a new design every single year from IWCA, and it's always different, and it's always a limited run, and it's always one. So it's like, of all people who had the culture of the industry before the culture was a thing. I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 years.
Yeah.
People don't remember before that it wasn't an industry. You were all by yourself. There was nothing. But there was that guy. That was you. Sorbo, the Sorbo channel is always kind of created this culture. It's always put this out there before it even became mainstream.
Yeah, I was kind of dull. You know, everything was black, gold, and then leather. You know, so now everything changed because of my colors and stuff. You know, and now it's a toy business. I mean, window cleaning like new toys.
Yes, it's
and look at this thing here. Is probably the most exciting thing I've ever seen.
So great. That's so great. I love that the ads and pictures you've been putting out of that thing too. It looks so good. It looks so stinking good.
Well, you have to come up with new things. You know, if you stop doing that, that's not good.
Well, no,
but you know, this head is full of crap. You know, it comes out slowly. You know,
you'll have another 600 ideas come out of there. Yeah,
I got a lot of ideas. Yeah, so it's not ended yet.
Yeah, well, there you go. The ideas don't stop ending. If they do, that means the lights turn out and you change into a different person anyway. So you
Yeah.
gotta keep having ideas while you have them, you know?
Yeah, well, you can see most of the manufacturers they make a wide body squeegee, but I really appreciate them making a squeegee who doesn't look like mine, so you can actually tell who is making them, and
Yeah.
the industry is so much better when everybody having more toys,
Work together.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the hard part. When you
Yeah.
started in this world, there was no there was like three people. There were three players in the game when you became one of them.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
ABC, NBC, and CBS TV stations before there was everything else. It was
Yeah.
you and just a couple other people. You had to break out to do something else, and now all of a sudden there's 50 manufacturers now. It's a whole different world. Not that all of them have to exist, I don't think, but they do. So
Yeah. Well, it was only three of us who, Ettore and Unger and me, who was window cleaners, who started a window cleaning manufacturing.
yeah,
Only three of us,
yeah,
if you
Yeah.
think about it.
it's crazy. It's
The
crazy
rest of
where it's
them-
come.
Yeah, the rest of them is not window cleaners; they're business people.
Well, it's crazy that you're still in it too. You're still in it as hard as you ever were.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. I do find the industry I got into almost by accident, but I'm so glad that I stayed in it because it's just so exciting. There's just we fly under the radar. We get to make great money as window cleaners, but we also get to be proud of something. We're a luxury that people kind of see. It's our own culture, our own world, and some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life are window cleaners. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to still be part of it.
and I mean, everybody says you feel so free when you
Yeah.
clean windows. It's really awesome. And when you have accounts you do every month, you become the house doctor too. They
Yeah.
always talk to you about their problems,
Yeah.
and when you've done it for so many years, you're like family members almost.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
exactly
really
it.
awesome. Yeah,
So the best place to buy your book is Amazon. Is that
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Best place. You can get a Kindle version and you can get the paperback version.
you're right.
Got it.
You're right.
So if
The
you guys have not seen it or not checked it out, literally search it. The title of the book, it's absolutely fitting. I should be. It's
You've probably seen it. There it is.
Yep. So that guy in the cover is such a good looking fella.
I know. I don't know who it is. I think it's somebody related.
Well, I really do hope that everybody gets the book. I mean, if you are a window cleaning nerd like I am, the history of the industry really focuses on you. That's a huge part of the entire world that we live in is you, and you're still here talking to people about it. And I think that the book is an amazing story, even if they don't know you're a window cleaner or they're not a window cleaner. So I hope everybody gets that. But I really appreciate you kind of talking to me. I'm going to see you next month in IWCA. If you're going to IWCA, people can talk to you. They really can. Shake your hand, take your picture, all that stuff. It's really refreshing. You're there. You're real.
And a great thank you to all you window cleaners out there, because without you, none of us would be here. Thank you so much.
Exactly. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Now, if you guys don't know, too, I am a rep for windowcleaner.com. Please, if you need anything, let me know. You guys know my number. It's 862-312-2026. And if you haven't yet, go out to awcmag.com. Get yourself a subscription. It is a to-your-door every single month paper magazine. It's absolutely amazing. Go get that, too. And go to IWCA, talk to Sorbo, buy his book. I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. But more importantly, until next week, go out there and be epic.
Thank you.